Welcome to the YSSN podcast. I'm your host today, Lual Arok. Today we have a few guests. Let's start off with introducing Kur. Kur, can you introduce yourself real quick?
What it do? What it do? Kur Kuath here checking in, man. How y'all doing, man?
We're good, man.
Lovely as always, man. You know how we do.
And then we have Ayung with us, or he goes by Sway. So today we actually have two microphones, so I'm going to pass the mic to Ayung real quick. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. Ponderu, what it do, man? It's your main man, when baby back on it for episode 2. Appreciate y'all coming right back and ready to supply y'all with some more heat.
Well, yay.
Okay. And last but not least, we have a pretty esteemed person in Salt Lake City, a close friend of mine, Nefan. Nefan, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. My name is Nefan. I'm a high fashion model here in Utah. I've worked locally mainly, but also out of state. And I recently model coordinated a fashion show called AMF. So that's a little bit about me. I'm happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Always, man.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, me and Nefan go way back, just by the way. We go way back. Today we have a few topics we want to talk about in the sports world, especially in African basketball. But before we get into that, unfortunate news, the NBA star Dikembe Mutombo passed away, and he's been a very impactful person in terms of like African basketball development and also African sports in general, and the forward movement of basketball in Africa and elsewhere in the world. You guys have any thoughts on Dikembe Mutombo and his legacy?
I mean, I feel like you should start it off cool because I feel like that's somebody that had big inspiration on like defensive centers. And I feel like that's something that I could definitely see in like through the years watching your game. Like you were big on you were good on a lot of things, but defense was your biggest thing. Like protecting the rim, that was your biggest thing. And anytime you would swat that ball all the way out the gym and give him that finger wag every time, like had from Kearns all the way to Hamburg, like man, you've been doing that forever. Like how did that affect you?
No, you're right, man. Like Dikembe Mutombo, he was just a big influence to me. Coming out of Africa and being the person he is, because he had an impact on a lot of lives, and he was, a great person on and off the court. Great role model, role model and stuff. So, him being, the defensive presence and paint presence, is something that I've always aspired to be. And him passing away was just truly sad, But like some of his accolades, like 3-time Defensive Player of the Year was major. Even a 3-time block leader in the NBA is major. He has a lot of accolades that are huge and that are bigger than basketball. Him being 8-time All-Star. Being from Africa, that was like inspiration for us. I wasn't alive during this time, but seeing all the stats, the highlights, it's crazy to see how impactful he was to the continent of Africa, and it's amazing to see.
Yeah, I have something to say. Like without Dikembe Mutombo, we wouldn't have Joel Embiid, Pascal Siakam.
Most definitely.
Yeah, what's his name? Bismack Biyombo. Like there's a bunch of African players like that have impacted that are doing so well right now, but without Dikembe Mutombo and actually him pushing basketball in Africa, we wouldn't have these type of players, and it'll be harder for the NBA realized like we had Akeem Olajuwon, Dikembe Mutombo. They realized okay, Africa has talent and they can bring a lot to the game, but I think Dikembe Mutombo pushed it a little bit further than previous African basketball players.
Yeah, most definitely.
And I think he was like and then him and his work with Lual Deng have been very inspirational, honestly. But
someday, yeah. I'm just like I get to stutter and I get too excited, too happy. Like everything that Dikembe Mutombo did off the court, that's for even though we don't get to see it or we know of, that's what we know of him. A lot of the players that were able to develop through these programs that he started back home through, you know what I'm saying?
NBA Africa, NBA African Academy, and then now the Ball League, which a lot of African teams play in, and he was very instrumental. He convinced the NBA like, hey, we got to start a league here, and I think the third best league behind the NBA. You know, we have the NBA, the Euro League, and I think the Ball League is really entertaining.
No, I agree with you, man. Those three leagues are very entertaining leagues. Some of the most dominant leagues too. Have some of the best talent, the biggest talent coming out of those leagues, and the ball league is only growing bigger. You know,
So
hey,
Team South Sudan has got a team. Let's go.
Oh
yeah, major, yes, sir.
How long can you start playing?
We started the qualifiers this year before the road to the ball. Now they're just hey, if you're a South Sudanese person listening right now, trials are open. If you live in the U.S., South Sudan, Australia, Mars,
I'm
you're
going.
eligible to try out for Team South Sudan.
Go get your bag, man. Go try out, man. We need more people representing the country. I would go, but you know, I'm already committed. You know, I signed before these trials are open, so I'm kind of stuck here. But
By the time the
I can't
contract's done,
complain.
I'll hold the team down.
Hold it down. Wait for me to pull up, man. Just hold it down so I can pull up.
They actually need a media. Team South Sudan needs a social media manager, man.
Oh yeah, we're perfect for that.
Social media man, if they fly me out and pay me.
Oh yeah,
Of course.
What they not play about that?
Hey,
You're not doing it for free.
I do it.
Let me see what I can do. I'll try to pull some strings. You know, we'll see what happens.
Okay. Yeah. So he's been very instrumental, and like moving on like to his impact, a lot of NBA players with his help have contributed a lot to Africa, such as Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose was actually the sponsor for Team Senegal. So when they had the World Cup qualifiers, they had the Rose logo on their jerseys, which was a really cool thing to see. And he also took Simeon high school basketball team. He took them to a trip to Senegal, Dakar. So they got to train, and they played a game with Team Senegal.
That's so dope. And I love that. I love that relationship of but like that Lual Deng's relationship with Joakim Noah and D Rose, because they're you can tell like their relationship is bigger than just teammates for a couple of years. Like they're going back
to basketball, man. These are brothers for life.
For life. Like they're like you know what I'm saying? Like Lual Deng I don't know if Lual Deng, but he got them invested in. Like now they want to be part of like the growth of African basketball.
Yeah,
for sure. I'd love to see that like their dynamic together.
Yeah, it's amazing, man.
I think Lual Deng is like a big impact. Like he's been very impactful on Joakim Noah and Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
But the foundation started with Dikembe Mutombo, and then Joakim Noah is also he's of African origin, and his dad is like the most famous French tennis player in the 90s, bro. And his dad is like he's half Cameroonian.
That's dope. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm just saying, like, yo, hey, shout out to Cameroon, bro. Y'all be producing crazy
they
talent.
Got basketball players, man. What do y'all feed y'all kids on?
Yeah, hey, when my son gets born, you know, inshallah. Inshallah. Hey, he might go train in Senegal, bro, because I need that NBA contract. Pending.
Yeah, man. Whatever it takes to make it to the big leagues, man. But nah, for real, man. Those three basically they definitely had a big impact. And you're right, you know, Mutombo definitely, you know, basically paved the way for them, you know, and he paved the way for them to realize there's so much talent and so much potential in Africa, and you know, and to use their platform to actually bring attention to that. And it's amazing to see what, you know, the time and effort they put into building that aspect and showing us that anything's possible, you know, like, you know, giving these kids a, you know, opportunity to play basketball or play whatever they want to do, you know.
We have like players like Wenyan Gabriel, Abba Mute, who plays for the Clippers. And I think other NBA players, I haven't seen much going on, but those two so far, I've seen them do camps in Africa, Abba Mute in Cameroon and Wenyan Gabriel in South Sudan. And I think those camps have done 20x times, given the NBA a chance to find talents that you would never see. Because Joel Embiid was a volleyball player before Abba Mute convinced him to be like, hey,
talk about it.
You should play basketball. You should not be playing volleyball. You should play basketball. So I think when starting from Dikembe Mutombo, but when NBA players do go back to their home countries and do those camps, they do much more good than them just playing in the NBA, because they show like they give them like that you are 10 feet away from me. I can achieve what you can achieve just by you being here, just by you caring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. They have huge impacts on many lives when they go back home, you know? And it's amazing to see, you know, like especially like shout out to D Rose, you know, him being the one of the greatest point guards of all time, you know, the most explosive point guard that we've probably ever seen. Him going back, him going home to our home and you know the motherland and doing what he did in Senegal was just like okay, let me do this now because it's not only our duty, but anybody that has a vision and knows that there's talent there will go and do what they can to make sure everybody achieves that goal and reaches their full potential. And that's one thing that they did help for sure.
Yeah. Also, hey, if we've missed any NBA players who did any camps or visited Africa and done some work in Africa, please leave them in the comments. Just at that moment, saying that I remember Jimmy Butler went to Senegal too. So shout out to Jimmy.
Jimmy
Shout out to the
Buckets.
whole Chicago Bulls team,
Chicago
bro.
Bulls team.
Yeah, man. That was a raw team, man. Chicago, yeah. Chicago Bulls got they got a good, pretty good team, man.
Can we thank Genie Buzz and the Lakers for being the main supporters of the national team?
Shout out to them for that $60 million. That's like 60, 80.
shout out to the Lakers, man. Yeah, Lakers.
They funded Team South Sudan, bro.
Bro, that's crazy to think about, man.
Yeah.
No cap. They funded, really helped funded us.
No, that's too funny, man.
They made it happen, man.
Yeah, we got to move on from that. So yeah, we have Nefan with us here, and Nefan, I just have one question.
What's up?
Who are your favorite? Who are your favorite players on Team South Sudan? Can you actually even name 3 players on Team South Sudan?
Yeah, I could name 3 basketball players. Actually,
Yeah, who?
I mean, what happened?
I said who? Name.
Okay, let me get to it. Can I speak? Can I speak?
Okay. My bad. Go ahead.
Basketball like that. The only times I watch basketball is like to support my family members, you know, in the bleachers. But aside from that, I didn't actually watch the Olympics this year.
Yeah.
And I would say my 3 favorite basketball players was JT, Bull Qual, and Nooney.
Whoa.
Ooh, okay.
I thought she was gonna hit us with like at least like the most common. I thought she was
I thought you were gonna say.
Nah.
I thought you were gonna say LeBron James, bro.
Steph Curry, LeBron James.
I'm like Bronny Jr.
Bronny James. Hey man, you can't forget, man. You can't forget AJ Wilson.
Yeah,
Like
professional person I know. She hosted a AMF, which is like art meets fashion, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, everyone gave her their flowers, and this was like. I'm telling you, there was white people running this stuff, bro. So this was like legit. That's the best praise I could give you. But like, I mean, like, you know, the description. But it was very like, what's the word? I don't know. I'm not very
like high fashion, well
high
put together,
fashion, yeah.
Like production, like fashion show.
Yeah, I met one of the dudes who had like a presentation at the fashion place, and he worked for like Vibram, which is like a shoe sole company. So they design shoe soles for like Hoka, some other companies. I can't like Row Hiking. Like these are like very professional billion-dollar companies. So it was very interesting to see like Nefan work with them, give them advice, and work with fashion models that weren't even from Utah, that were just from out of the state. And it was very interesting. I know that was a very long intro, but she wanted a long intro.
Sure did.
So Nefan, can you just tell us essentially what you do and the modeling scene in Utah?
Yeah, just like a quick little rundown. I feel like I don't specifically do anything like one thing, but just in general, I would say that I've just modeled for like the past 4 years, mostly locally. And then I've, worked in like New York a couple of times, LA as well. My goal is to shoot for international. That's my goal. And then like a couple of dream campaigns I have. But aside from that, when I'm not doing that, I also have like outside passions, like specifically with Utah and the fact that we don't have enough representation here. Like, I'm a big person where it's like, if I'm going to complain about something and I'm not doing anything about it, you could just go ahead and swallow your tongue. Like, you know what I mean? You're not doing anything
You're talking about
it.
nothing.
Exactly. And one of like my pet peeves with the Utah scene and like the marketing and fashion scene is that the colored people don't have as much representation as the other people do. And so for me, it's like, okay, what can I do about that? How can I get in the hands, like, how can I get my hands dirty and be a part of that? And one of the things I've been looking into is like model coordinating. As a model coordinator, I cast all the models on the set. Like, that's my job. I handle like behind the scenes stuff. And then I also do work closely with the producer. So yeah, that's what I did with AMF Foundation. Like, that was my job.
Tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
No, that's
like,
huge.
and,
That's
like,
huge.
thank you. Yeah, and like even speaking with the producer Heidi, shout out to Heidi, she's amazing. When she was bringing me on for this project, she was like, "Do you have any requests, or what is your game plan?" And I told her straight up, I said, "I'm gonna have my people up in there. For this, for the lineup for this fashion show, I'm gonna have my people up in there. Like, that's just is what it is, point blank, period." And I did exactly that. So we had people from like LGBTQ plus community, we had Black people, we had white people. I mean, obviously, we had Asians. Like, we just had a plethora of people. We had a lot of male models there too. So yeah, the lineup was very diverse. So I pride myself in that.
Well, that was dope too. Like
No, that's dope.
I was able to see some of my homeboys, like, you know what I'm saying? Get on that runway, do a little walks, and they had some fly fits, like like what a Comey threw together. That was
Comey
so
was
fire.
Dope. Yep.
I love that the Atlanta Hawks like that Atlanta Hawks stitch jersey he made. That was so fire. Like, he got a lot of people right. I was upset I couldn't go. I was upset that I chose to stay home. Don't let me try to lie to y'all. I don't like to pop out. I'm getting kind of old, but I really should have. That's one of the events I definitely should have stepped out to.
You gotta support your people, man. So Nefan, so how do you like maintain being, a model in the up and coming world while also trying to, maintain your creativity styles, even though, you're working with various models and directors and companies. Basically, so like how does like the demand vary between the uptrends
Balancing the two.
Yeah, and balancing the two,
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of my biggest advice that I like to give people is like, if you are wanting to get into modeling, like, you do not have to put all your eggs in one basket. You know what I mean? Because with modeling, there is downtime and there are, like, let's say, off seasons. No pun intended. There are like
she's so unserious, bro.
Yeah.
You'll have moments where you're not booking for maybe like a month or two and you're just like, chilling. So I feel like during those times, like, get into your passions and do things on the side, whether that be model coordinating for a fashion show or school or whatever. And like, agencies, they encourage you to do things outside of just modeling. Like, nowadays, you can't just be a pretty face. There's pretty people everywhere, so you have to have other like skills and goals in, like, your life. Like, if you could have two models, same what do you call it,
build,
I guess, yeah, same look, same build, everything, same height, all that. The model that has more credentials behind them, that maybe like goes to school or plays hockey or whatever, will get that booking over the one that doesn't have anything. So I always encourage people, like, don't stop your life from modeling. Like, maybe in the beginning you can, like, maybe like first 2-3 years, I would say, because that's what I did. But at some point you got to like lock in and like have like some sort of consistent income, because you just never know with modeling. Like, it's the same thing with sports. Like, anything could happen to you at any moment. You can't count on like that 1% of you getting into the NBA. Like, have other attributes.
Yeah, very important.
For sure. I always gotta have a plan.
I didn't really answer your question, but how do I balance
I think you did.
Okay, how
no, you kind of did.
Okay, yeah,
you kind of did.
You answered it.
Yeah.
So like AMF, that was during the summertime when I was back. So whatever opportunities that get presented to me, if I have the time, I'll put it in.
So your first 3 years, I put modeling first,
For
family
sure.
second, and God third.
And God third, yeah. No, but for real, like when I first started modeling, like, I was posting like damn near every weekend. I was shooting like every week. And mind you, this is all free work coming out of pocket. Like, that's one thing they don't tell you about modeling, is like, it is an investment. Like, you have to invest in yourself. You're only going to get as much back as you put out, so if you're just if you're posting like once a year and never like collaborating with locals, like you're not really gonna get anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Or you like walk for that one brand, that best friend that you have, like you're not gonna get far.
Yeah.
For sure.
Sometimes you gotta get scammed. Sometimes they hit you in your DMs and be like, "We need an ambassador." Maybe get burnt a little bit. Look.
No, do not. Hell no.
Yeah, for sure. You're not getting DMs all the time. Trying to be ambassador for this, ambassador for that.
I got about 7 different companies I get to choose from right now of who I want to be ambassador for. But like with that, like you got has any companies ever like offered you like real ambassadorships? I know like what I got, those are all like little scams. Like, has like companies ever like put up on you and like really been like, we really actually fuck with your style. Like we like how you put it on. Like we need you to represent us.
I mean, yeah, of course. Like I've had a variety of a little bit of everything, but I think for me, like another thing about modeling is like there's levels to it, right? There's different areas that you can get into. So there's like high fashion modeling, and then there's like commercial work, and then there's like fitness, and then there's more like social media, like influencer type of thing. So I've had companies reach out to me for like influencer stuff. I'm just not an influencer. Yeah, that's not my field. That's not my lane. So I'll turn that down. I mean, if it was a couple of Ks, you know what I'm saying? I'll suit up. You know what I mean?
We got a couple of bands. Make this quick post.
Yeah. I'll watch a couple of TikToks and lock in, but I haven't been offered anything like that yet. So, but yeah, there's levels to the modeling stuff. That's why I'm like, anybody can really model. There's room for anybody, but everyone just think of like high fashion, New York Fashion Week, which is like the strictest like form of modeling, you know? They're very strict about like measurements, heights, and all those things. But like commercial work, like anybody can do a Target shoot. I mean, not anybody, but you know, like you just gotta have a pretty face and good personality. You can do a Target shoot.
Nice smile.
Nice little smile.
That's true. I like that. I hope y'all real game. This real game that Nefan is kicking. Just keep listening.
Yeah, I gotta tap in. But wait, Nefan, I want to know. So
their names 1,000, the Wallow and Gilly shit.
$1,000 worth of game.
$1,000 worth of game right here. $1 million.
$1,000, man. Y'all better lock in. Cause really, I want to know, like Nefan. So I see, you know, you got the fit on, the jersey, the camo. You know, you look like you put it on and off the court. You know, so how do you culturally, you know, basically, like, how does your culture background, you know, play influence on your fashion on and off the runway? I'm trying to figure out if you mix, you know, your culture in your fashion, or you just put on whatever when you wake up, or how do you do?
He really wants to know if you're whitewashed just to get the modeling gig, or do you bring a little South Sudanese?
Yeah, you bring some culture to it, you know.
Me personally, oddly enough, like I'm not really like educated in like the fashion stuff. You know how like people can be like, oh, like these pants are from Dolce & Gabbana season 24. Like I'm not like that. I like what I like and I put that shit on. That's it.
You don't care about what season it is. Like,
no, if it looks nice, it looks nice.
Winter
like,
season, you wearing like a spring dress.
Not too much.
I'm trying to figure out how you put it
but
on.
like you know when Drake was like no stylist, I can't relate. I would prefer a stylist, you know, somebody that could dress me and put me in clothes. Okay. I feel like also with like working over time, like this is another thing people don't understand. When you get booked for a shoot, they put you in what they want you to be in. You don't choose. Mm-hmm. You don't go up there and be like, nah, I don't want to wear that. No, they booked you, they paid you, they put you in what they want you in. Mm-hmm. So I think through that, I've gotten like my sense of style through that because I've worked with different stylists. So I'm like, oh, I like that. Like I would have never thought of wearing, you know, something like that. But as far as my personal culture, I feel like South Sudanese, period, we're very prideful and very like, you know, that's what I am. So like even in my like language, like I'll sometimes drop a little Sudanese word. I don't even care if I'm talking to a white person or not. I'll be like, yeah, bukra. I'll see you bukra. Don't give a damn if you
understand. Too much mushkila right here.
You know, for like, you know, I'll do all that.
I kind of like, this probably won't make any sense, but have you been in a shoot and someone dressed you up and you're like, this is ugly?
Of course.
Yeah. Or have you been in a shoot where it's like,
go on.
Yeah, this is business, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a business
my integrity. They're paying me. You can't say much.
Huh?
Oh.
No, I understand. But I'm saying, have you been in like a situation where like they put you in some uncomfortable clothes where you can't even walk in, or like some shoes, or you know?
I'm like, I don't even know if I can really talk about this, but I will. I'll keep it very like
You
vague.
don't gotta say the brand or nothing. Just
Of course not, but it's just so specific. So I'm like, can I say that?
What did they have you in? Bullshit.
Uh,
They had her in bullshit.
So okay, so I won't say where.
Yeah.
I watched with this designer, and they basically had us in like these slippery like shoes. I was supposed to walk on the runway, mind you. So I walked for this brand, and they basically had most of the models in like these like slippery like high heels. Like they were tall, right, and they were backless as well. So not
Ooh.
only were the shoes slippery, but they also had us in leggings. So there was no like grip to the shoes. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And so it was like really hard for us to walk in those shoes. It was like damn near impossible. Like they had to like tape my feet from top to bottom, and it still wouldn't. Like it was still hard to walk in. Like one of the models on the runway like tripped because of those shoes. Seriously, don't laugh.
have you ever fell on the runway?
I'm too professional. I does this.
Okay,
Never.
okay.
But that I feel like people don't take modeling as serious as they should, because it is a profession and it is a skill that you have to get down and practice. You know what I mean? Like somebody else being put in that situation, if you just started modeling, of course you're gonna trip. Like they set you up damn near, you know what I mean? But for someone
sure.
that's like walked on runways multiple times, like you're gonna be able to like do that with no you know how to pivot basically.
Yeah.
Hit him with the
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even talk. I definitely trip and stumble off the runway. And the goofy shit they probably put me in. So
Also,
I can't even talk.
question regarding like a skill like models should have. Like, what's the most important skill a model should have? Do you think it's networking, or is it, being presentable, or?
I mean, I think a person that does that really well is King Duat. That's his Instagram handle.
Shout out to my cousin.
Yeah. Anyway.
I gotta look him up myself.
He probably follows you, but
Hey, Sway, you famous out here, man.
But yeah, no, I feel like because I just malfunctioned because I just thought 5 things at once. But yeah, no, definitely, like you could be a pretty face and have the skills and all, but like if you're not like going out of your way to introduce yourself to like the people behind the scenes, like the producer or the makeup artist and stuff like that, like you're not going to make it as far. So you do have to be like a people person and like be able to converse and network and trade Instagrams and stuff. Because a lot of my work that I've gotten over time have mainly been through references, like referrals. So like that's the big thing. I feel like that's the big difference that set you aside from everyone else, is really who you know. So I do feel like that is definitely a skill that you have to hone in. And then also like your social media presence in a way. I don't know, that's kind of hard because like I've seen models that have like 50 followers that walk in like Milan Fashion Week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. I don't think you should base your modeling career based on the exceptions. Like, let's be realistic. Let's be real, you know? Like,
Yeah. Okay.
So you got it or you don't, huh?
Huh?
You have any questions?
You got it or you don't, right?
Exactly. Either you got it or you don't.
What was your biggest inspiration to like start modeling?
Oh, that's a good question. Y'all didn't even. Okay. I would say for me, my biggest inspiration or why I kind of started modeling. So when I first started modeling, this was when I got out of high school, and I didn't really have any like hobbies or anything. Like I didn't play sports, as y'all know. No, I really couldn't.
Hey, don't let her lie to you. She could have been a tough.
No,
she could have been a tough point guard.
A young used to have us at that damn school running up and down them damn hills. I said, "This is not for me. This is not for me. I'm good." Coach Sway, literally. If you've never been to a boot camp with a young like guy right there,
make sure it breaks you. It's simple. Make sure it breaks you.
Yeah, no, I didn't care for those type of stuff. But I remember this is the time I was working at like Panda or something, and there was like a week straight, really weird, where like people were like telling me like, "Oh, you should model, like you should do this and that." And at that time, like modeling, at least for like Black girls, it wasn't really like a thing. It wasn't really like a thought. You know, we weren't the it girls at that time. So
this is like 2016, 2017?
No, 2019.
2019.
Yeah, around like 2019. But at the same time, this is when like a Nakyai, like a Do a Catch, like those girls were like blowing up. Mm-hmm. So I was like seeing that and I was like, wait, actually I could do this too. Like they're doing it. Mm-hmm. So I would say my inspiration is definitely like a Nak, I feel like first, and then a Do right after that. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, obviously we have other great Sudanese models, but those two I feel like really inspired me to like kickstart my career. And yeah, that was that. I went to
yeah.
my first shoot. I loved it. Realized I could make bank off of it, and then that was it. It was quiet from there.
Man, now we won't get into your pockets, man. How much money you done made off of this?
Go get the money. Go get the money.
Hey,
Nah,
how much
that's
you want
dope.
on the podcast? 1,000, 10,000.
At least 1 month left for the building.
Yeah.
You talking about some
Yo,
10,000? You pay
yeah, you-
200.
And-
You trying to finesse me?
Yo, hey, we
This
need some new
scary.
speakers, man. Where you gonna donate? Man, hey, we need to hire a cameraman too.
We need a microphone man too to adjust the
We need an
volume.
audio visual technician, man.
Yeah.
Donate to SS Elite.
We need an editor. We need we need a producer. We need everything, man. We hiring for free 99.
Bad. Hey, you guys have any more questions for Nefan or?
Nah, I guess. Do you have any questions for us, Nefan?
So have you guys ever thought about modeling? Like, has that ever been like a thought?
Me personally, no. I just don't. I don't fit the modeling frame.
See, so the thing is,
I'm too proud to model.
the thing, me and Nefan, we got the same experience. Those about a month straight, people just kept telling me like, man, you look good. You need to be a model. And I'm like, you know what? Y'all lying to me, trying to, make me feel good. But I should have listened, man. Y'all might see me on the next runway soon.
For me, I want to give other niggas some jobs, bro. You know what I mean? There's a lot of broke niggas out there. So, hey, if you guys want to model, go for it, man. I don't need to.
Oh my god.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, bro. If my season wasn't so long, bro, I'd be modeling right now, bro. I've had like at least 20,000 offers to walk New York runway, Milan runway, Paris runway, all that, But it's just balls life. Balls life.
I run the industry, but I got.
Yeah, bro. You know what Toodles is taking over the industry, man. You know it, bro.
Hey, one thing though, for real, I can see you walking though. I can see you walking in a fashion week, like maybe maybe like a Kansas City, maybe like a Missouri type of fashion week.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. And that's better than no fashion week, man. All you walking is up and down the hallway in your career time, but I look good. Just cause mama said you look good, don't mean you look good, my boy.
Okay, hey, that's funny. But hey, actually, I have a question. Do you think, even though like especially basketball players and Sudanese basketball players, we're tall as shit, do you think like there's still a chance for us to model? Because like, especially in the U.S., I think there's like a height requirement. They usually don't go for models taller than like 6'3", 6'4". And
as far as requirements,
or yeah, is that? I mean, not like requirements, like because I don't think they're gonna see someone like 6'6", like, yeah, bro, get out of our building. But like,
no, that happens.
mm,
There is such a thing as being too tall. Like even for our fashion show, we had somebody that was like too tall, so we had to put him in another designer. But yeah, there are requirements. There are height requirements because if you think about it, like on the runway, they want most everybody to look pretty much the same, like whether it's like measurements and heights and all that other stuff. Like even I was having a difficult time in New York Fashion Week because I was like on the shorter side. But yes, no, there's not enough like male models, period. That's like a different lane because it is a bit harder for male models to get put on and do those type of things. So I would say like if you are a Sudanese man, like just do it. I mean, that's the same advice I have for Sudanese women. Like, just do it. We're hot right now. We're, you know what I mean? Everybody's looking at us right now
product is pushing.
Exactly. So it's like, what do you lose by, submitting yourself to an agency and seeing like how far you can get, and then a lot of us are slim, built, tall, really great features. So it's like, why? Like literally, why not?
cheekbone
and jawline, crazy.
It's crazy. Clear skin, like what? It's
I'm still working on mine, but once my skin cleared up, hey,
even our worst day is our best day. You feel me? So it's like,
ooh, yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of interesting. But I know it's different in Europe though. If you're in Europe, they don't have that much crazy restrictions for height, and that's what I've heard. But maybe that's an assumption.
If we're talking about high fashion,
Yeah, it's more like
I don't know. I think it'd be hard just because don't you have to fill the clothes, you know? I feel like they don't make clothes for taller people in Europe. Like everything is definitely small in Europe.
Europe is a bit, so I would say it goes like LA is a bit more loose, so that's more like beauty brands, commercial, Nike, that's where you get that. So it's a bit more loose, and then you have like New York, who's like is more strict with like like high fashion editorial, and then I would say Europe is like Milan, like those places are kind of strict too, I would say.
Really?
And then like Miami is more like swimwear, that kind of stuff.
Living fly, get it, like little Hawaiian shirts and little shirts like that.
So you're saying so you're saying for taller South Sudanese athletes, it's going to be a little harder to break in the industry.
I feel like that sounds crazy, like South Sudanese athletes, because being an athlete, that takes up a lot of your time. And you kind of have to be like dedicated to your sports, right?
Yeah.
With modeling, there has to be some level of commitment to it. At least if you want to, get to a certain point.
And it's like as you say that, it's true, because it's like we got players like Bo, like he's a great anomaly. He's a great anomaly because he's a great basketball. He's a great basketball.
A young get a mic and start using different words, like chill.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
Anomaly. He's trying to say anomaly.
What did you end your what did you end off of?
I basically said like athlete trying to transition into modeling. Like, of course you could do it, but there has to be a level of commitment to modeling. I feel like anyway.
Yeah.
Also, take what I say with a grain of salt, because I'm still considered like a rookie in the modeling industry. So if you like, I feel like I'm more the person for like, oh, how do I start? How do I build my portfolio? Things like that. But as far as like the whole nine, like I haven't walked in Milan or anything like that yet. So
you'll be there soon. You'll be there soon.
Yeah, all major brands. Make sure you go in the description and follow Nefan's Twitter. Her information will be there for y'all to follow her and give all the brand deals she deserves.
But like going off of what you guys said earlier, like South Sudanese men being models, or like taller men being models, or like athletes. Like someone like Bobo would be like a crazy anomaly. Someone like Bobo would be a crazy anomaly.
You're fucking me
someone
up.
Like someone
what
like
he's trying to say is Bobo's an anomaly in the modeling industry because he's 7'3" and
he modeled for Spider. Like,
but is that because he's a model or because he's a basketball player? You feel what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like
I think it's more because he has a relationship with Young Thug. I think that's why.
So, okay, that's a good question. So there's a difference between getting campaigns because you have like, I don't want to say clout. That sounds so like childish, but because you have
NBA clout. That's what she.
I guess. Yeah, we'll just say that there's a difference between getting booked for a job because you have a different. What am I trying to say?
But I think
this is
like a piece for like, oh, it's only going to build this. It's only going to fit this certain type of person. But then there's sometimes it's like, oh, we have this fly. We just got to put it on a good face, or like a good popular face.
That was the question, like a popular person. Okay, cool. It's one thing to get a book job for just being like a popular face versus just strictly modeling, because campaigns do that shit all the time. Well, they'll have like Nike and LeBron James collab. Does that make LeBron James a model? No, he's just an athlete, and this is the campaign that they're shooting for right now. Yeah. So like if Bull did that one campaign, that was more of like because he was in the NBA and it's more on that side than really.
But it goes back to what you said earlier too, with like networks too, because I think he was also close with like Young Thug, and he was close with like the Spider family.
Exactly. Like I feel like that line gets blurred. Like who's like a model? I mean, I'm not the model.
But have you seen? Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like it's different. Like if I book Selena Gomez obviously these big brands are gonna want like a Selena Gomez or a Bull. It's gonna push their product more.
Push
at
product.
The end of the day.
Yeah, I think that was more my question because especially in the NBA and not just the NBA, basketball athletes and athletes around the world have been getting a little bit more interested in the fashion scene, mainly because of Instagram. And you see NBA runways, you see people wearing the most, personally I think, ridiculous outfits. But you kind of I see a correlation. That's what I'm trying to say.
Like Rick Owens, like that's really huge right now.
So And then and I don't think Bull not necessarily for the clout. I think he actually does have an interest in fashion. I think he's more fashion. He's more oriented toward fashion. Him and Kyle Kuzma, who actually walked on runways and took it pretty seriously. Not like just walked. They're like they took it pretty seriously. So I'm just saying, like, is there a possible transition? Is there like a trend for designers moving toward athletes? Which, let's be honest, in the 90s, did this shit ever happen?
No.
2000s, this shit ever happen? No,
So
it's
the
happening
difference-
right now.
Exactly. I would say the difference is between like the 90s and now, and you can like read articles on this, and like people, I would say, also agree, is that back then, like, models used to be the rappers. You understand what I'm saying? Like, models used to be like the it girl, like real, like, what is it? Like trendsetters, the celebrities of
Yo,
like,
shout out to Naomi Campbell, you thief.
Naomi Campbell, Tyra
That
Banks.
thief.
What?
That thief.
No, don't.
Yeah, thief.
Bruh, Law's trying to get me canceled. This thing is crazy.
Nothing.
I need somebody.
Bro. Hey, I'm just, I mean.
No, I don't agree with that message. I love you, Naomi.
Shout out to Naomi though.
Naomi's like a supermodel.
Yeah, she's a supermodel.
Yeah,
You called her a thief?
she embezzled tons of money.
Oh, hold on.
Allegedly.
But hey, we're not here. We're just
Allegedly.
we're here for
Crazy.
sports. Yeah, we might create a new podcast. Do you have any final messages? I know this is like toward the end of the podcast.
Final messages.
Yeah. Kur, do you have any final thoughts?
What do you see? What do you see the future of fashion looking like? Like within like the next 10 years, like from like styles to models. Like, do you think we could possibly move in towards like an AI type of fashion?
That's not a good question to ask me.
Nah.
No, because I don't. Like I said, I'm not into like the fashion scene like
Oh,
that.
Yeah. But I have a real question though. Like,
What's up?
like bringing back on my young's question. Do you see the style? You know how we went from super baggy in the early 2000s to super skinny in the 2010s, back to the super baggy in 2020s. You think that's going to keep going back and forth through the decades, or you think it's going to be something's going to stick and people are just going to stick with baggy clothing or stick with the skinny clothing, or what do you think? Like, what do you think about the uptrends?
That's a good question. I feel like with trends, like, first of all, for the most part, there's no such thing as like a new style or a new trend. Like, all the fashion trends have just been recycled, reused. Like 90s trend right now, like that's been a thing, but it's just coming back and is popular now. And I think that's just gonna happen continuously. Like, I don't think in 10 years people are going to be outside with like cut up water bottles and that's going to be the style. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's going to stay pretty like consistent for the most part as far as fashion goes. But like I said, I'm not the greatest person to ask. Like, I'm not like that's a jokey question. That's a Safari question.
That's a question. Jokey, I hope you're listening. I need you to comment down here and let us know.
Make sure you chat in with Safari worldwide.
Niggas wearing that they get to wearing that reflective silver. Like, like how we used to see back in the past what the future would look like. You think we'll ever get to something like that?
So this is the third time I told y'all that this is not a question for
No.
me.
This is about trends. Like, you know what I'm saying? You seem like a trendsetter yourself. So I'm like, maybe you could read trends too. So I'm like, maybe you see where the next trend is going towards. So that's why.
I mean, no, honestly, the way I watch other people, like there are specific channels on like YouTube that you can watch and they'll tell you like, so for summer 2025, like this is what's going to be in.
Okay.
Go there. Don't ask me because I don't know. I just like to wear what I wear. That's really it.
Send me those links, man. I'm gonna start learning myself.
I got you.
Hey, we are at our last minute. Oh, go ahead.
I have last words. I'm gonna just go off the dome because I don't have anything specific to say. But what I'm gonna say is, because this is what a South Sudanese platform, I want to put an emphasis on the fact that, like, yes, we are killing the modeling game. Yes, we are killing, the basketball scene. But as South Sudanese people, we are so much more than that. And there are so many amazing like kids out here that are kicking down the doors for different areas. And I feel like we should give them credit as well and continue to encourage that, especially when we're talking to the youth, because we don't want to mislead them and think like these are the only two paths to make it out. Like, no, you can go to school and be a doctor. You can be an engineer. You could do a plethora of things. Like the outcome is not just two paths. That's one. And two, I would like to say, don't ever forget home base. Like, I know it's hard and it's difficult to like continuously stay in a community that is, I don't know, sometimes like, let's say judgmental, very strict. We know how our parents and aunties and uncles are, but I don't want people to forget, like, there is still love here. There is still resilience here. There has to be a bit of compassion as well when we think about that stuff, because, our country has been through a lot and we are freshly new. So it's like our expectations can't be so high. All we can do is continue to build as a community, care for the kids, because they are the future, and just try our best. That's my motto, at least, like, to always bring it back home. So yeah, that's my message.
And I love that you did mention that, because that is something that I feel like I was doing in the last episode too. I was trying to make it seem like we boxed in as just being basketball players or being something. Just remember, man, don't ever let me tell you what you can be. Don't ever let anybody else tell you what you can be. Only you know what you can be. So just go crazy off of that.
Yep. Shout out to the South Sudanese killing it in other industries, like Elvis, Duke. These are finance majors. Shout out to them. But before we head out, do you have any upcoming things that you want to let people know about?
Oh, yes. For my locals. So I don't have a specific date yet, but sometime in November, I am doing a live podcast with is it solidified? Anyways, I most likely will be doing a live podcast in November, and then following that up with a mingling event. So for all my people that want to get into modeling and know a little bit more about that, know a little bit more about me, come pull up, support, and yeah, show out.
We'll have dates. We'll have dates and links in the description below. So just come.
I'm like, y'all better post my shit. Y'all be posting Kur every day.
Wow.
This man dribbles a ball once. Post.
That's crazy.
I love it though, but I'm saying, like,
no, for sure. You gotta support. No, you're right. You definitely gotta support every aspect of South Sudanese, not just sports, not just modeling, but everything. Our doctors, our lawyers, our judges, everybody that's achieving, first generation things. But definitely, let's start, applauding and giving everybody their flowers that's doing big for the community, man. For real. You are a major key in the movement of South Sudan, and we applaud you all for continuing to basically prove, not even prove us wrong, but basically beat all the odds, and we love to see it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me. This is a great conversation.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here pretending like I'm not related to y'all. Yeah. Thank you, Ayung. Thank you, Kur. Thank you, Lual.
So thank you for being here, for real.
Yeah.
Thank you for filling in for Rehan.
What did I say? See, this is what I'm saying.
I want the viewers to know. I can't take me and Nefan never serious. We just joke around all the time. So I try to be as professional as I could. And it was really hard this episode. You guys know me, I'm a pretty professional dude, but hey. But thank you for listening. Please share, subscribe, like, comment, and follow us on Instagram at YSSN. Is it YSSN podcast or just
Don't ask him. Like,
yes, YSSN podcast.
Just search YSSN. We're the only YSSN on Instagram, man.
Young Successful Sudanese Network.
Yeah, make sure you follow.